Hello, welcome today. I am Michael and Jay is with me. We are back for episode 2 of Scarlet Rage podcast. Today we're going to take a look at the kind of the position groups and talk a little bit about what we're excited about with each position group. But before we get into that, Jay, how you doing? What kind of weekend did you have?
Michael, I'm doing good, man. We're out of town this past weekend. We actually went to Asheville, hit up some breweries, and there was a big concert there. Uh, Motionless in White was like the featured band. I know most people don't know who they are. I
Yeah.
love that type of music. I feel like that type of music needs to be, I'm spreading the word. Look at this podcast being like, you know what, my interest, your interest, man. We're gonna spread our interest. It is what it is. But they're great band, love them to death. Had a lot of fun. I sent you a text, by the way, a
Yeah, it looks like
video
a
of it.
big look. I've never heard of them, but it looked like a big crowd.
The lead singer of Motionless in White actually made a point during the uh, performance that was the biggest crowd of their entire tour outside of
Oh,
the actual festivals they were at. So
oh, okay.
me and the wife had a lot of fun. Well, I had a lot of fun. She had fun. So there.
Okay. Well, good.
What about
Well,
you, sir?
um, I'll coach a youth football game today, or at least I'm the defensive coordinator, so I coached the defense in a youth football game today,
Mm-hmm.
and was out in the sun for several hours because the sun was beating right down on our sideline, and then we had a
Oh
pool.
boy.
Yeah, and then we had a pool party for the team right after that. So my forehead is like really burnt.
Yeah, I can
Um,
see that.
yeah, so I just spent too many hours in the sun today. But
Yeah.
so I'm a little tired at this point in the day, but hey, I'm excited about some of these topics we got.
Yeah, me too. We're locked in and ready for all of you. We're doing this for you guys. Obviously, we got a lot of things to say, but we are doing this for all of you, giving you a different perspective on Ohio State football, Ohio State athletics, and I'm excited to talk about these position groups. I'm very excited for a lot of the personnel on this team. So, Michael, I'd say let's just kick it off with quarterback. Like, what are you excited? Are you not excited? Are you in between? What are your thoughts on the quarterback position at Ohio State? I have
Well,
my thoughts. What are your
okay,
thoughts?
okay, I'll keep it brief because I don't have like just a tremendous amount of thoughts about quarterback.
Yeah.
I would be, I
Yeah.
would, and this isn't a knock on Kyle McCord. I would be a little bit more excited if it was Devin Brown. And that's not a knock on Kyle McCord. It's only because I just haven't really seen behind that door a whole lot. And I feel like I kind of know what to expect with Kyle McCord. But that being said, if they truly think that McCord is the better of the two quarterbacks, then I am looking forward to see what he can do because thus far, we just haven't really seen him enough to know whether we could expect something fantastic or something mediocre. What do you think?
I agree. Now, this is one of the position groups that remains an enigma, a mystery, hazy. I don't know because we just flat out don't know. We haven't seen these guys play. We saw Kyle McCord and starting a football game 2 years ago against the
Mhm.
University of Akron. And we really didn't see him much after that the rest of the season. And last season, I think he played a couple series. But in my opinion, I agree. Total mystery. I can't claim excited or not excited, don't know much of anything about both. I mean, you hear things that Devin Brown's athletic and can run, but I need to see it first. I
Right.
need to see it. I don't care what other people say. A lot of people have said things about players in the past and they turned out not to be true. Maybe they just don't. Maybe they think somebody is fast and I don't think they're fast. Maybe they just have different perceptions of
Yeah.
athletes. But it is what it is. Like, we don't know. I mean, nobody knows. I mean, if you honestly say you know, then you're lying, unless
No.
you're an actual coach on the team. Um,
I'll say this: I would be very shocked if Devin Brown was the game one starter.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree with that. So, not much to add to the quarterback. So let's just move on to running backs right
Yeah.
away. I'll start. Running backs. I'm very excited. Very excited about the running back position. Do I think any of the backs are true elite backs? No, but we have five deep at running back. I don't think in Ohio State's history we've ever had that. Uh, in my opinion, I think Dallin Hayden should start.
Okay.
You know, I'm most excited if he starts. I really think he's just the most complete package at running back. You know, he's able to read the running lanes the best, at least from what I can see. I think he and Demonte Trayanum are two best backs in my opinion.
Okay.
Um, you know, Mayan Williams is a solid, you know, nice little power back, but he's injury prone. We're hearing rumors that he's injured right now. He's not even practicing.
Yeah.
Travion is a fairly talented back, but the guy is either not he's not following his coaching on which running lane to run to, or
Mm.
he lacks that natural instinct to be able to read his running lanes. He doesn't let the holes develop as a running back. He tries to bounce everything outside too much. I mean, he was essentially benched in the Maryland game, and Dallin Hayden took over. So, and then after that, he didn't play against Michigan, and he did not play against Georgia, and that's the last time we saw him. They can claim injury all they want. You know, he probably was injured, but injury or not, you should be able to still run to the same lane, and he wasn't. So
Yeah, I mean he's never really done that. It does. He's always been one of those guys that at least Williams will stick his head in there and get the 3 or 4 yards.
mhm.
Henderson's one of those guys that it's like either he pops one for 15 or you know he's probably going to lose one or two. You know, and that's the one issue that maybe he has brought is that you need a running game that doesn't get you behind the chains. And so they need a running game that is getting them some forward progress. And hopefully he's learned because I think he is a talented back, but and he just never really put it together. But yeah, I'm excited to see the group because I'm excited to see has Travion taken that step now that he's healthy. Can he be a 1,600 yard back, or is that really just not who he is? Is one of these other guys gonna gonna beat him out? But regardless of kind of who takes that position, it's not a position that I'm like super worried about. I think that we're good there.
Yeah, I agree. We're more than good. Depth for days. I mean, if
Yeah.
you know, like I said, my opinion, two best backs are Demonte and Dallin. And then if Travion Henderson is your third running back, there isn't a better running back room in the country, at least depth wise. There are better backs than any of the guys we have, but there isn't a stable of five guys that can just. We're even forgetting about Evan Pryor, by the way.
Which
Evan,
is which he's supposed to
yeah,
be maybe one of the most talented ones.
Yeah, he is. He's got a lot of speed. He's right here in the Charlotte area, from
Mhm,
Huff High School here in
mhm.
Cornelius. A lot of speed, a playmaker out of the backfield. He's the best receiving back we have. I think he's kind of like Curtis Samuel Light, but heck, he might be the next Curtis Samuel. We don't know. He hasn't played a lot, but when he did, he flashed a lot of speed there. Really excited if he can play. But I mean, the only thing is where with our receivers, which we'll get to, it's like, where does somebody like that even fit? He's talented, but where is he going to get his playing time?
Right,
So
right.
those are good questions. We don't know the answers. I don't know the answer.
Yep.
So we'll just have to wait and see on all of that.
Wide receiver?
You want to start this one or you want me to start this one?
Uh, I mean, this is like the easiest one.
Yeah, it
Like
is the easiest one. So
yeah.
yeah, I don't think it.
Go ahead.
All right. Excited, capital letters, exclamation point
Yeah.
times 10. Like, best receiving room in the country, 5-star after 5-star at every
Right.
position.
Which Heartline signed another one what today? Commitment today?
Yep, that's right. I was gonna
Yeah.
mention that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jeremiah McClellan from,
Right.
like, St. Louis
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Beat somebody big time for him. I can't remember the school. Oh, who did we beat for him?
Oregon and Missouri. Missouri is really trying to give him that
Huh.
bag, man. They were
Okay.
trying to pay
Okay.
a lot of money for him, but he wanted to go the development route and make that NFL money. And,
I
you know,
thought
off topic, if you happen to notice, like, we don't seem to struggle in recruiting at the positions that we're putting in the NFL.
right.
So we don't
Right.
like NIL isn't a problem for the wide receivers and the quarterbacks on the
Yeah.
team. Other positions, it's a problem recruiting. But
So yeah, I know I got you off track there. So
yeah, let's get back.
you think Marvin's going to be pretty good?
As long as our quarterbacks that are a mystery can get him the ball, yes, I think
Right.
he's going to be great. He's
Right.
gotten bigger. Uh, he's he's really the complete package at receiver. He's not a burner, though. He's not somebody
No.
who's just going to run away from you, but he is 6'4". He's got a lot of range. I don't think there's really many more. I mean, I'm kind of running out of superlatives for him. I think
Yeah.
everybody in America knows Marv. Let's talk about the
Yeah.
guys people don't know as much about. Emeka Ibuka, he really showed out against Georgia in the Peach Bowl. Same with really Julian Fleming.
Yeah.
Neither one Georgia could cover when we actually threw them the ball. Like they did their thing. Like I really expect big things from Emeka Ibuka, Julian Fleming. I mean, you read about like the reports in practice and stuff. He might be dropping some passes, and that could open up some things for Carnell Tate, who is supposedly going to be like the next Marvin. Now he's not as big, but then you also have Jaden Ballard with
Yeah.
the speed element. He's the fastest receiver on the team. I'm curious. I'm really curious and excited. Obviously, very excited, but I'm curious if Marvin plays some slot receiver
Hmm.
because that is a rumor going around. They're going to play him some in the slot, and
Okay.
they're going to either put Jaden, Julian, or Carnell at the X
Yeah.
and allow him to like roam in the middle.
Yeah.
And
I'd
yeah,
like to see Jaden out there on the edge. Maybe he could take off on some guys, and maybe we could have something that we haven't had in a few years, quite frankly, which is like that. Well, maybe not a few years, but something that we didn't have last year is that guy that's just going to burn you right over the top. Maybe he could be that guy. That's kind of my hope for him.
yeah, that's been everybody's hope for him. We've
Yeah.
just been like hoping. I mean, he's from Massillon. It's like we're hoping he'll be our next Devin Smith. Now that
Yeah.
Chris Olave was a good deep threat, but he didn't have like the X size. Like Jaden's
Yeah.
6'2". Olave was only like 6 feet.
Right.
And I think Jaden's faster than Chris and Garrett Wilson. I think
Yeah.
he's got close to Jamison Williams type speed. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, obviously we're very, very excited for the receiver position. So not much else to be said about that. Offensive line, take it.
Oh, well, this is the this is the one that like everybody is kind of has a little bit of trepidation about, or at least most people.
Yeah.
I think we got a few good guys in there, and then a lot of question marks. I mean, it's like we still don't really know who's going to take that all important left tackle job. Who are you hearing is the leader right now?
I'm hearing that Josh Simmons is the leader for the left tackle spot. He was going to
Okay.
maybe do the right tackle,
Yeah.
but no, he's going to be at left tackle. He's going to be at
Now,
left tackle.
now, is there somebody? Were we trying somebody at left tackle that we just kind of moved back over to right tackle?
Yes, we were. Oh man, his name is escaping my mind right now.
Nice
Josh
try.
Fryer. Josh Fryer.
Yes.
Yeah, Josh Fryer was repping at left tackle. Now, but Simmons is going to be the left tackle because it's just from what we understand, Fryer doesn't have the foot speed to be, a blindside tackle blocker. But Simmons does. The only problem with Simmons is that he's undersized. But I mean, I guess we're going to answer. What are your? I mean, are you excited or not excited for offensive line? I guess.
This is one that I wouldn't say I'm excited. I would say I'm cautiously optimistic, that it'll come together. I'm not expecting this to be a dynamo offensive line like weeks 1 through 4. I'm just hoping that by the Notre Dame game, they're coming together enough that they're, significantly above average.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not excited for this offensive line.
Yeah.
I really have my worries there. Man.
I think, I mean, well, remember, we were not like, nobody was too excited for the 2014 offensive line, and they gelled and came together and were good. And so it's possible, but there just doesn't seem to be like a tremendous amount of, it's going to be overachievers if it happens for the most part. Like if this is a really good line, it's going to be because Justin Fry earned that $1 million+ and was just a really good coach. And then these guys just kind of bought in and overachieved. I think that's the path to a good line. Because other than that, I don't see like by any means, anything that would make us go, oh, this is definitely going to be even a good line, let alone a great line.
Yeah, a lot of question marks, especially at offensive tackle. I mean,
Yeah.
people I've read on message boards before, oh, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Well, here we are now in 2023. We're not fine. I think the two starters are fine,
Mm-hmm.
but the depth is scary,
Yep.
especially when you have a true freshman like Luke Montgomery that is supposedly repping with the twos. A
Yep.
true freshman should not be in the two deep at offensive line. That is a position that you need to have college maturation as just a person. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
should be, like, not 19 years old in the 2 deep, you should be, like, 21.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. I mean, Josh Simmons, at left tackle, yeah, he has the athleticism to play offensive tackle, but he doesn't have the size that we've had. We've had, like, 6'7", 6'8" guys there. He's only 6'5", 6'6", maybe on a great day. I've read, and I haven't looked at his film at San Diego State, but people have said his film at San Diego State wasn't great. I mean, I believe the interior is going to be good. I mean, we bring back Matthew Jones,
Donovan Jackson.
Donovan Jackson, and I think that Carson Hinsman. There's Jake. I think Carson Hinsman's going to be the center, and he's got
Yeah.
really, really good size for a center. But
Yeah. I think the interior is going to be fine, but
mhm.
especially in Ryan Day's offense, like it's pretty important who you have out there on the wings.
Yeah, especially if you're going to be throwing. I
Yeah.
mean, that almost opens up a discussion. I mean, we don't know what this offensive line on the edge is going to look like when game time comes, but do we have to revolutionize this offense and like go to like I form or like more power based
Well,
offense
let me
to
throw this
protect the
idea out there
quarterback?
that Kurt Barton is pushing, and so I'm giving
Okay.
him the citation for this here. I'm giving him the credit. This is his idea, and I'm not necessarily saying it's good or bad. I am saying it piques my interest
Hmm.
with him being a former offensive lineman. He said that if you come with a game plan, especially early in the season, and get them ready for those Big Ten road games where they're running the ball 25 or 30 times a game, he said that really is a way to get confidence in a young offensive line as opposed to just having them pass block all the time and then send them over to Camp Randall for a night game or the November night game against Michigan State and then say, now you have to run block so that we can win this cold game. He said that he thinks this offensive line needs to kind of get going right out the gate, establishing that they can beat defensive fronts and run the ball.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I wouldn't really even cite Wisconsin as the example. I would cite Notre Dame, who we play
Yeah.
in like week 4 before
Yeah.
Wisconsin. Now, that's a scare. I don't know how good Notre Dame's defensive line is. I'm sure it's going to be solid, but um, man, oh man, I yeah, again, the offensive tackles are a mystery. Not hearing good things on that end, hearing that the defensive line is destroying them in practice. And I mean, it's not like Ohio State's defensive line was great at all last year. I mean, they were solid, but nothing to
Yeah.
write home about. But I do,
Right.
again, we're about to get to the defensive line here in a moment. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, we'll
So
see.
I think for both of us, the offensive line is dicey. Neither of us are excited. At least for me, like I'm not ready to uh, you know, say that I think it's going to be crap. I mean, I recognize that I think that might be a possibility, but I'm not. I still am somewhat optimistic that they're at least going to be a serviceable, above average offensive line.
Well, again, you're graded on your biggest games.
Yeah.
I don't really care what they do against Indiana as long as we're beating Indiana's ass.
Yeah.
So, like, kick Indiana's ass. Like, I don't really care. Kick Michigan State's ass, but
Yeah.
you're going to be judged about what you do against Notre Dame. You're going to be judged about what you
Penn
do against
State.
Michigan, Penn State. Like,
Mhm.
we'll see. We'll see when those games
Yeah.
come. I mean, I don't really, okay, you can look good against these teams, but you have to look good against the best teams in order
Yeah.
to be for me to I mean, these other position groups have proved it a lot, but they haven't, so we'll see.
True.
Um,
All right.
defensive line. What are your thoughts?
I'm actually excited about defensive line because I I would like to see Sawyer without having to play the jack position. I think that was just it just wasn't good for him. It wasn't something that it just didn't fit him at all. So I am excited to see, is he really deserving of that super high rating when he just puts his hand in the ground and goes? And then JT. And then I also think that we have a lot going on at tackle. So defensive line, I'd say, is probably, I'm as excited about it as anything on the defense.
Man, I definitely excited for the defensive line. They have, I mean, for this season, up until this season, Larry Johnson has done a magnificent job at recruiting defensive players. Like,
Yeah.
player, and to be honest, the player I'm most excited to see.
Kenyatta Jackson?
No, not Kenyatta Jackson.
Okay, I want to see him too. But
I mean, yeah, I definitely want to see Kenyatta Jackson, like, because I did see him stand on the sideline at Buford High School a couple years ago. Went to go see.
if
Madonna.
you guys don't know who that is, he's a defensive end, and supposedly he's really flashing in some of the practices.
Explosive, has a first. Okay, but I'll get to Kenyatta. But player I'm most excited to see is Tywone Malone. Tywone Malone, the transfer from Ole Miss. He's from New Jersey. He was from Bergen Catholic, football powerhouse.
Okay.
In my opinion, you watch his film, and I think he's the most talented player on the whole defensive line, especially now since he's dedicated his craft to only playing football and no longer a dual sport athlete.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, you watch like that little summer video he had, like working out back at home, and how just big and fast he is, and give Larry Johnson credit here. And I was like a big critic of his defensive tackle recruiting, but he is getting those guys that are like over 6'3", over 300 pounds now. He's got them. Like, the depth at defensive tackle is the most depth Ohio State's probably ever had at that position. I mean, you have, again, I'm not even talking about the guys that are probably going to be the starters. I mean, you have Tyleik Williams, you have Michael Hall, you have Ty Hamilton, you have now Tywone Malone.
Yep.
That's a solid 4 right there. And then after that, who are we thinking about? We're thinking about like Caden McDonald, incoming true freshman from North Gwinnett High School.
Yeah, you like him a lot. I mean, I haven't seen him, but I know that you say that you really like him.
I have watched his film, and I'm like, how is this kid not a 5-star? I mean, you just don't find people that are 6'2", 315 pounds that can run like a 4.7 growing on trees. Like, he was doing very, very, very well against Georgia 7A football. And those are just the type of guys Ohio State wasn't getting for the longest time. You have Jason Moore from DeMatha Catholic. The defensive tackle position is absolutely loaded. And we haven't even got to Tuimoloau yet. Tuimoloau is the guy who has all the accolades coming in.
Yeah.
You have him. You have Jack Sawyer, who, I mean, we don't really know what we have with Jack. He was playing out of position last year. Kenyatta Jackson has flashed a lot. Caden Curry. Unfortunately, Omari Abor got hurt. He looks like he's going to miss the season. That's really sad to see. He had a lot of talent. So very, very excited for this defensive line. Very excited.
A friend of mine from my days in Baton Rouge just texted me. He is a diehard Alabama fan, hates LSU. Lives in Baton Rouge his whole life, but hates LSU. He was just texting me.
Wow. That must be an interesting life to live there then.
Yeah. He was texting me, good luck this year. So, we go back and forth, with stuff. So anyhow, thought that was interesting. He's concerned about their quarterback play in Alabama. So we might discuss maybe in a future episode some of the top contenders and what weak spots do they have that Ohio State might could punch at if they get a shot at them.
Yeah, true. Yeah, again, have to worry about our schedule first. We'll definitely do like a season preview of that. But Ohio State's got sick talent on their team this year. I mean, Alabama's got loaded with 5-stars. But yeah. So recap, I think we're both excited about defensive line. Majorly excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, JT. I think we know what we have with him. It's a question of like how much is it going to show up? Like, it showed up like one game.
Yeah, see, you hear good things about him,
Mhm.
but my only thing about JT Tuimoloau is that, or he's actually J Tuimoloau. I mean, it's not JT, but whatever.
Oh, okay.
Um, he's going against the Ohio State offensive tackles who are not supposedly very good. I mean,
Right.
at least I mean, I don't know how he's doing against the starters, but reports are that the defensive line is absolutely manhandling the offensive line, which, great, but well, not great for the offensive line, and that just makes you raise questions. I mean, I hope the defensive line is like 2002, 2003 greatness there,
But
but
they should
yeah,
be ahead of the offensive line. Like, even if this was, and it might not be a talented offensive line, I don't know. But even if it was a talented offensive line, that D line should be ahead of them at this point in the year. They've all played together. They've all been out there on the field. Like, several of these guys on the O line, like, this is the first time that they're, seeing this level of action. So they should be ahead of them, in my opinion. So I don't know that necessarily is like damning to the O line. And I also don't know that it means we're going to have a D line full of All Americans, but I do think that the defensive line has a chance to be very good.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, again, I really think they have a chance to be dominant. I mean, um, yeah, so really nothing else that can be said. Just need to do it on the field, man. Do it in the biggest games. I mean, there are a few guys off last season's team, like addition by subtraction, are no longer here. So it's time
Yeah.
for our best players to play all the time. So, um, linebackers.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's how I feel about
Yeah,
linebackers.
I see. I see that.
Tommy's good. He's a good linebacker. I don't have anything negative to say about Tommy. He's a good linebacker. Steel Chambers is, I think he's a pretty good linebacker. I certainly wouldn't say great. It's just, I want to see. I really am going to be somewhat disappointed if we don't get to see. Um, uh, Good grief, his name just slipped my.
CJ Hicks.
Yeah, CJ Hicks. Yeah, not yeah. Sonny Styles is on in the
Yeah, he's a
secondary now. Yeah,
safety.
but CJ Hicks, I definitely would. I'm excited to see him. If Jim Knowles does his thing where like he never gets the other guys out and it's just like Tommy and Steele all the time, then I'm not super excited or super stoked about this linebacking core.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm in between. I'm gonna go a little bit more positive there.
Mhm.
Uh, Steele and Tommy are very good,
Mhm.
but they're very good Big Ten linebackers
Mhm.
against traditional offense.
Mhm.
But they're kind of both liabilities in coverage. Steele has the athleticism, but really not like the size or length of like a great LB. Tommy has the size, but not the athleticism.
Mhm.
Uh, I will say that from all reports, and again, we have not seen this guy play, but based on the measurables and his just watching him just run in the spring game and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I do what you just mentioned. CJ Hicks, I believe, is going to be him, capital letters.
Yeah.
And he honestly needs to play. I personally, this is not going to happen. I would start him over Tommy Eichenberg. Tommy Eichenberg would play a lot,
Yeah,
but I would
that's
start him.
never going to happen. You're right, because Eichenberg is like gold around there. Like, Jim Knowles loves Tommy Eichenberg more than anybody else on that team.
He did get all Big Ten awards and everything, but again, like I
Yeah.
said, he's a good Big Ten linebacker. But you go back and watch his film against Penn State. He really struggled on some stretch to plays, having to get out in space. He got man, he did not have a good game against Michigan. I do not believe he had a good game against Maryland. It seems all the teams that put up the points against us, he really struggled against. Georgia in pass coverage, he gave up a lot of receptions. I mean, he did
Yeah.
fine, defending the run in that game, but pass coverage, he was just not. He just doesn't have it. I mean, you
Mhm.
either have it or you don't by his age. I think he was class of 2019, says one, two.
Yeah, he's
going to be a fifth-year senior
he's
this
a
year,
fifth-year
so
player this year.
yeah, he's gonna be a fifth-year player this year. So in year 3 or 4, you are who you are for the most part
Mhm.
from a playmaker standpoint, and he's good as long as he's playing on first and second down. Third down, it's going to be a struggle, or if he has to defend against stretch, anything that's going to put him in space. But CJ Hicks needs to play. Um, I would maybe. I mean, I don't know about Cody Simon, but CJ Hicks has to play. That's the guy.
Unless Hicks is playing, I feel like the defensive line, like the ceiling is reasonably higher than what we saw last year. I don't really feel that way with linebacker. I don't feel like the ceiling's too much higher than what we saw last year. Unless you add Hicks into the mix, then I think the ceiling's there. Knowles seems to be really concerned about efficiency, and he thinks that like younger players are not as efficient. I get like from a conservative coaching standpoint what he's saying, but when you have a player that is just freakishly athletic, they might not be as efficient in some areas, but they're going to have a tendency to make plays that can change the game. And that's kind of why I don't think that outside of him, I don't think that we really have that at linebacker.
He flashed in the spring game too. I think he almost had 2 or 3 interceptions. Almost. He didn't actually
Yeah,
make them, but he was everywhere. He was flying around. His
right.
length is something. He's just, he's a 6'3", 6'4" guy out there. It's just, man, oh man. He's I think he's got it, man, based off that spring game. I really think so. But I mean,
So
again, you could be a spring game warrior and not get
yeah,
it done in the real game. So who
so
knows?
I am excited to see him. I just hope that we do get to see him some.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So safeties.
I'm not excited for the safety position,
No,
bro. Not
no.
excited. Not excited. All right. So everyone is hyping up Alex Sunny Styles, but we haven't really seen him play. And I know like the same applies to CJ Hicks, but
Mhm.
um, I like again, until then, I'm not going to make any assumptions on the guy. I mean, so what we are bringing back, we're bringing back Lathan Ransom. Lathan Ransom, and this is not me just speaking here. Go watch the film, watch him in some of these games. Is just not it as a football player at the safety position outside of special teams. He's made some great special teams plays, but not on defense. He's too slow to play man coverage. He doesn't have the hips for it. He's been exposed countless times in man coverage.
Mhm.
Why Knowles puts him in man coverage as a safety, I have no idea, but it wasn't even just him. It was in 2021. Go back and watch the 2021 game against Nebraska. How many times he got shredded in pass coverage
Against
uh,
Nebraska.
against Nebraska.
Mm.
I don't see it with Lathan Ransom. He's just again, he's undersized. He's not a speedy guy. Um, Jahad Carter is getting hype, and he was the Syracuse transfer.
Yeah.
But you go back and watch his film at Syracuse, his coverage skills are really in question, and I did
Mhm.
not see him turn his head a lot in his film at Syracuse, leading
Yeah.
to a lot of pass interference. And this, and again, I played the safety position in high school, college. Like, if you're not turning your head around, you're beat. That you're
Right.
basically saying you're beat. Like, you're not. If you're able to turn your head around, you're not getting beat. You got to be able to phase with the receiver, whoever you're covering. Like, I don't know. I didn't watch a lot of like Syracuse's scheme. I don't know what kind of defense they were running, but I did see him coverage a lot there, and I think he's going to be playing like the what would be like the slot safety position at Ohio
Yeah.
State, like the slot nickel safety. The three safety defense that Knowles has. Um,
So
I
he's not coming off that to three corners, huh?
No, no, I don't
Mm.
think so. I
Mm.
mean, there are rumors out there that he might play three corners and stuff, but I'll believe it when I see it. I'm
Yeah.
hopeful. I am very hopeful, but I will believe that when I see it. But again, yeah, Jahad Carter not turning his head around, that can make. Hopefully he's improved on that some, but again,
Mhm.
that just goes into you are what you are by year 4 or 5. Um, a lot of question marks at the safety position, man. A lot of guys need to make plays. I mean, I would start personally. I would put Kai Stokes over Lathan Ransom. I think Lathan Ransom, he's had his time. He needs to go, man. You just need to get the fuck out. Like that's just
Well,
I don't
I
find
am
somebody else.
I'm at least excited to see what um, Sonny Styles can do. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
you know,
got a lot of talent, but I need to see him. We haven't seen him in much, man.
yeah,
We're hearing a lot of rumors that he's great. I need to see it. I need
yeah.
to see it, and then I'm sold. But I'm excited about him. But holistically, I have to look at this as a holistic standpoint. I'm not excited for the position, so
Yeah. Cornerbacks.
I'm excited, lowercase,
Yeah.
for the corner position.
Yeah. Igminosa. I'm optimistic about him.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell me your thoughts. What are your thoughts on the
Well,
corner position?
obviously he's got the body. He's got the 6'2", kind of longer body, and from all the reports coming out of camp, he is really fast, and that's a very good combination. And he seems to be a guy who's shown up at camp that is like no nonsense. I don't know if you saw the guys going into camp, like going into the hotel, but some of them were, which is fine if guys want to do that these days. Like some of them were wearing the really elaborate outfits, like it was a photo, shoot, and it was just all about, what kind of outfit they had on. But Igminosa just seemed to be like all business. Has tweeted about basically like bring the competition. More competition just makes me better. I just like what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, and what he personally is displaying. The others, the other cornerback, and I don't know, hopefully it'll be improved, but I do, I guess, at least have some excitement that we may have one pretty good and possibly very good corner out there this year.
Okay, all fair. Just I will say I, the name Davison Igbinosun, I could say
Mhm.
it like so many times. That is like the coolest name in the world.
Yeah,
Davison Igbinosun.
yeah,
Davison Igbinosun. Say
yeah,
that 3 times fast. I
yeah.
may play with my son or something. That is such a great name.
And
Personality wise, he's
hey,
a dog, man. I like what he brings to the media sessions. That guy has the it factor from a personality standpoint. Absolutely.
him and your man on the D line are the reasons why New Jersey has to become Ohio State country. The best out of New Jersey need to go to the Ohio State University, the top 2 or 3 players in given cycles. Because sometimes those top 2 or 3 players out of New Jersey, or say, some cycles even 4 or 5, are very good players. Georgia got 2 of them this cycle. That aggravates me that they're not in the Big Ten.
I agree. Yeah, the Big Ten sucks at recruiting, man. Let's be real. Collectively, yeah, I mean, this is an Ohio State show, but then I see like Michigan losing like a defensive end to fucking Miami. Like,
Yeah.
what are you guys doing, dude? Like,
Hey,
Miami sucks, and this is a kid from Ohio, and you're losing him to Miami. Like, I
can
want
I
the Big Ten to be good, man. And then you look like across the conference, like Wisconsin sucks. Nebraska is doing a little better under Matt Rule, but
yeah.
what is this conference doing from a recruiting standpoint, man? It's terrible, but
You've got Ohio
fuck.
State, and then you've got Michigan and Penn State that have chances to be in the lower half of the top 10. You don't,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's I mean, Michigan's gonna struggle to finish in the top 10
They
because
are,
they're
especially
pretty
after,
much done with their class. But before we digress too far, we can talk Big Ten recruiting. The cornerback position to me, I am excited. They are getting a lot of hype, but we will see. I've never thought Denzel Burke has really ever been a good corner. I mean, I was stood on that hill even after his freshman year because he was getting beat like a drum in some games at the end of the year.
Mhm.
He got beat a few times against Georgia. Um, Igbinosun has all the tangibles, but it's not like he lit the world on fire at Ole Miss. Granted, he was a true freshman.
Yeah,
I
freshman.
did I did watch his film against Texas Tech, and he was okay in that game. He did get beat a couple times, but again, he is going to his sophomore year. Hopefully,
Mhm.
he's had some maturation in this offseason. So I'm very, very hopeful there. Uh, Jordan Hancock is kind of an unknown. I mean, like, yeah, he was highly rated and stuff. He hasn't played a lot. And then a couple times last year, you do see him in the game, and he didn't really make any plays. And the only time I really saw him was him getting beat. So that's an unknown. But I will say, collectively, holistically, I'm excited, but they have to prove it. They
You
have
think,
to prove it.
I know this isn't cornerback, but you think Josh Proctor's done? You think his time's come and gone? You think he's done, or you think there's any flickering chance that, you know, there's some little flame there that could still ignite this year and he could be a really productive player? What do you think?
By year 6, no. No, I do not think so. I always thought that guy had all the tools, and they're always
Yeah.
marketing this guy to be Malik Hooker, and I'm like,
Right.
why? Why is he Malik Hooker? He doesn't
Yeah.
run like Malik Hooker. No, Malik Hooker was like arguably the most physically gifted safety in Ohio State history. That guy
Yeah.
was just amazing, but like I just hate some of these people's comparisons right off the bat for some of these players. But again,
Right.
Josh Proctor, I think he has a lot of talent. He just never put it together.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe he's not studying film as much. He doesn't seem to be a favorite amongst the coaches, but he loves it at Ohio State. He hasn't left. So I don't see him going anywhere, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I don't see him playing. I do
Yeah.
not.
How excited are you to see the special teams unit led by Parker Fleming?
Oh man. That's a really good one.
Mhm.
I am in between. In
Yeah.
between because we've had last season we had some punt blocks that were good. The kicking game was actually pretty good
Mhm.
until they tried that. I mean, everybody's going to point to the 50-yard field goal against Georgia, but we should have never been attempting a 50-yard field goal in the first place.
No.
That's a discussion unto itself.
Yeah.
Special teams and has actually been solid in Ryan Day's time, but I just don't see the need to have him there as a special teams coach. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that guy brings as a recruiting standpoint.
Yeah, you know my feelings on that. Like, I just feel like he's a zero. I don't understand why he's on the staff. I'm sure he brings something, but it's just James Laurinaitis needs to be the linebacker coach, and that's it. Like that would be much more valuable in my opinion. Is James Laurinaitis really the Brian Hartline of the defense? Well, I don't know, but I know this: the defensive side could use some help. So I'm ready. I'm willing to give it a shot. And I think that he needs that spot as linebacker coach.
Yeah, we definitely need some infused energy on the defensive side of the ball for recruiting purposes.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I would probably agree that Laurinaitis needs to be probably given a shot before he goes somewhere else
Yeah.
because other places are going to start calling soon, probably after this year.
Yeah.
So to try and procure him, so we'll see on that. But yeah, that's our recap of all the position groups, though. I mean, as you can see, a lot of mixed opinions there. A lot of positions we're excited for. But Michael, I will say this. One thing I'll say about the position groups, and I had a dream. I had a dream that I saw CJ Hicks,
Okay.
Alex Sonny Styles,
Okay.
Kenyatta Jackson,
Okay.
and Davison Igbinosun all on the field at the same time with
Mm.
Tyrone Malone.
What were they doing? Was it a success?
Yeah, I don't know, man, but you have this vision of them walking on the field, and it's like, whoa, that is the kind of those are the type of dudes like that Georgia trots out there, but there's an argument to be made. They're more talented than the guys Georgia's throwing out there.
Will
They
we
are.
do that though?
I hope so. I
Yeah,
hope so. I hope
do.
that Knowles is like forced to at some point. But
Yeah.
I mean, from reports we see about Tyrone Malone, he's repping with the ones right now. He's ahead of like a lot of those second year players like Hero
Okay.
Canoe at the defensive
I
tackle
thought you were
position.
saying like you literally had a dream, because like the night before they won the national championship. Well, actually the night before they beat Alabama in the national championship, I had a dream, and an Ohio State guy was literally, I swear to God, like God is my witness, an Ohio State guy was flashing down the sideline everybody was going nuts on the Ohio State side. And in the dream, all I knew is them and Bama were going back and forth, and it was a really close game. And I woke up.
This is 2014 you're talking
Yes.
about?
This was about 4 days before they played Bama that week.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's it. Shows you the anxiety we all had as a fan base going into that one.
But it was a close game. See, so
I assume that you had some kind of premonition about
Yeah.
Zeke Elliott or Devin
Yeah.
Smith. They both had long
Yeah.
touchdowns.
So when I woke up, like I was like, oh, we could win this thing if there's like anything to this, and unless I like had bad mushrooms on my pizza or something, if there's anything to this, I think we could win it. So I thought you were talking about like you literally had a dream and you saw.
No, man. I think I was probably daydreaming. I was like, man,
okay.
If only.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. Like, come on, look at these guys, man. They're freaking like fucking monsters. Like, what are we talking about? Like, come on. So, whatever, man. Hey, thoughts on Gene Smith before we get out of here? What are your thoughts on him finally?
All right, I'll keep it short and sweet on Gene.
Yeah.
I am ready for new blood at the AD position. I just hope that they don't replace him with a minded person. I hope they replace him with somebody. I would like to see somebody a little bit more aggressive, somebody that will push the envelope a little bit more. I think Doug Lesmerises had a great interview in a few points. Like number one, when he nailed Gene down, essentially Doug did it in his very Philadelphia kind of way that he's able to do it. Like he basically is like, okay, Gene, is there a reason why we're trying to win football national championships and the Director's Cup? And so I hope that the next AD could care less about the Director's Cup and wants to put more money into winning football national championships. That's my thoughts about Gene.
I agree, man. I'm ready to just go get the fuck out, Gene Smith, man. You seem like a good guy and everything, and you seem to care about the athletes, but man, you really did a terrible job when we needed you to the most. Like, man, he really fucked up Tressel, like the whole Tressel Tadgate thing really messed that up, man. It's like you see these teams in the South, man, lawyer up and make the NCAA go, like do your own investigation. We're not going to help you. If you have this, show us the freaking evidence.
We fold, and for years the NCAA shows up at the SEC's door and they say, go away. And you know what the NCAA does? It goes away.
Yeah. So then, and then like rumors are, I can't prove this, but it's pretty strongly hinted he had nothing to do with the hiring of Urban Meyer, nothing at all. And like people were calling him to be fired back then because you go back and watch Urban's first press conference. Gene Smith did act like he didn't even want to be there because he didn't have a hand in any of it, and he knows that. He messed up like that bowl season the previous year. Now, I will say I'm not as big on him not taking the self-imposed ban in 2011 because Ohio State should have done a better job at fighting back against the NCAA. But then you have him putting too much money into other sports that nobody could care about, all the non-revenue sports. He wants to, be, like what did Doug ask him? He talked to him about like being one of the Directors Cup teams.
Yeah.
What the fuck is the Directors Cup?
Yeah.
Who the hell watches that?
And Doug even said, he goes, do you think it's a good thing that we're like the only school out there trying to win football national championships and the Directors Cup? And Gene was really not comfortable with that question. He kind of stumbled around and said that, well, there's a couple of more schools out there that want to do both, not many, but a couple. Well, I don't know who those couple are.
Yeah, who cares? Like, I don't think anybody really cares about women's ice hockey. I don't.
But if those of you still watching, like Jay, tell them what the Directors Cup even is.
Basically, it's an accumulation of all the sports. Like, you win the Directors Cup based on like the performance of every single sport, like known to in the collegiate.
So if you win a national championship in women's rifling,
everything is like weighted. Everything has like a weight to it.
Yeah. you win a national championship and whatever, or come in second place or whatever, all this stuff is weighted, and there's a champion at the end, and nobody cares. It's usually schools that are not even that good at sports that win the Directors Cup, so I mean, I won't say that they're not good at sports, but it's not your schools that are winning football national championships, basketball national championships. It's usually not those schools that win the Directors Cup.
Yeah, no, it's not. No, it's not. And again, like that's why I was listening to something today and they said something about Stanford and their 1000 sports. That's basically all they're known for. It's like a joke. Like everybody treats Stanford as a joke. And that's why the Big Ten doesn't want them. That's why the ACC just said no. Yeah, it shows how much people really care about the Directors Cup that you can't even get into a freaking conference.
Yeah.
Feel bad for them. I mean, like I feel bad they're in this position, but it's they didn't put the money in, they didn't put the money into their football team. They didn't put the money into their basketball team. They're not wanted. They're not wanted. They did it,
I would have been livid. Maybe that's strong. I would have been upset if Stanford would have come into the Big Ten. I'd have been like, wasted space, don't want them, got enough of these. No, thank you. So I am glad that the Big Ten didn't cave and take them and just took the two desirables that were left outside of USC, which we'd already taken. I'm glad that they did that. I'm glad they didn't take Stanford or Cal.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Stanford or Cal, they really don't offer much of anything. I mean, they're saying they might go independent, whatever. But yeah, back to Gene Smith, though. And then he totally messed up the Zach Smith situation. It sounds like, you listen to Zach Smith's podcast. Sounds like Gene really fucked him over big time. Feel bad for the guy. Yeah, man. Telling him one thing one day and then the next day it's like something completely different. At least be honest about it. Be like, hey, listen, this is what I want to do, but this is what people, don't tell him the day after, like, when you're actually firing him, tell him the day before to at least mentally prepare him. You think Gene Smith would have been a little better prepared for that, but he didn't seem to really back Urban very well during all of that. It was just a fiasco. He's not very good, and good riddance. Hopefully we get somebody who will stay out of the way of the teams that actually make money.
Well, Ryan Day loves Gene, at least according to Ryan Day.
Well, I mean, yeah. Is he going to say, yeah, I don't like my athletic director?
Well, I mean, I know, but I mean, he's gone out of his way to gush over him and to say that the bond that they have, like, is forever.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's not, I don't know. We're talking about Ryan. That's another discussion, man. Dude, hey, man, I like that you have the Cincinnati Reds attire on. I mean, you're sticking through it through thick and thin. At least we beat Pittsburgh. I did see that. That was on my background. That was on in my background like a few hours ago. I did.
Hey, it's been a better season than we thought. So we'll see how it finishes up.
Yeah,
I'm going to a couple games here in the next week or two. So
you need to go and cheer against us when we play Cleveland, man. Fucking hate Cleveland. Hate Pittsburgh too. Hate them both.
They're 6-0 when I've gone this year.
Well, you need to go on to Tuesday and Wednesday when they play Cleveland, man, because no team I despise more than the Cleveland Indians. Yes, they are the Cleveland Indians on here.
Yeah.
Yes, I despise the Indians, even though I'm an Ohio State podcaster, because growing up as a Reds fan in Northeast Ohio was absolute pure pain and agony. That really sucked.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I will say this upcoming Friday, I'm going to be attending the Buford versus St. Francis Academy high school football game. So I'll have a look at Edric Houston, hopefully an Ohio State player here in a week and a half. We'll see.
Let's hope so.
So other than that, not too much going on here. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right. I'm heading out to Knoxville early in the morning, and sure you're doing your thing this week, and we'll be back. Yeah, we'll be back next week, next Sunday night.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of you. Like, subscribe, tell everybody you know. We're here and we're still having a lot of fun. We're going to continue doing this.
See you soon.
All right. Thank you, Michael.
All right. Bye.